Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Accidental Beauty. If you're new, welcome. My name's Laura. I'm a self-taught makeup enthusiast who really enjoys fashion and shopping, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about my experience shopping on ThredUp, which I'm sure you've heard about before. If you clicked on this video, you probably want to know, is it a scam or not? Because it seems like every single influencer is talking about this website. So it's an online thrift shop. You can sort by brand, you can sort by category of product, and it's a one-stop shop where you can get anywhere from fast fashion to high-end luxury designer clothing, shoes, purses, accessories, all in one place at a discounted price. So it sounds really intriguing and enticing, right? Is it a scam? We will be finding that out. I'm going to be talking about my experience using their website, their service, ordering from them. I am not affiliated at all, as you can see from my numbers below. I'm not a huge channel. I'm a pretty small channel, and I was just curious and I wanted to get some things. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about what I got, but not really doing like a haul because honestly, I just kind of wanted to pick up a few basics at a reduced price. So I'm going to go through the entire experience that I had from adding items to my cart to receiving the items and what I think about the service overall, what I think about the entire experience using the site. Would I recommend them as someone based in Canada? I live in Toronto. How easy is it for Canadian consumers, especially, to order from the site, considering they're based in the US? Do you have to pay duties, taxes, all of that good stuff? So I will be talking about my experience from the perspective of someone who does live in Canada. I know a lot of my audience seems to be in the US. Some of the information will be, just sort of general talking about the website, but I will be also devoting a whole section to the experience ordering in Canada, because I did come across a couple like Canadian specific things. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to be here to answer them, and whatever I don't answer, you can comment below. I'm going to have chapters or timestamps below, so if you want to know about a particular category of product, I'll be separating them into different segments so you can just skip ahead. I won't be offended. So I'm trying to organize it so it'll be easier for you guys to find the information that you're looking for. If I don't cover something in the video though, feel free to comment below and ask me and I'll do my best to answer it. So with all that in mind, let's just jump into it. I've been experimenting recently with a lot of the videos, at least that I've been filming. My upload schedule doesn't correspond in order with the videos that I film, but I've been recently kind of experimenting with wearing my natural hair. Honestly, sometimes I'm just too lazy to put on a wig. What do you guys think? It's not like I hate my hair. I don't know how to do my hair most of the time. So I usually don't wear my natural hair when I do like a nice makeup look or something, because I just feel like it doesn't really go. It's not as like bold as the look that I have on my face. But I've been kind of trying to teach myself how to do my hair properly. And once upon a time, my hair was done. The curls are kind of falling out. I gave myself like a little blowout yesterday and then slept on it. So it's kind of coming out of its style. I don't know. Let me know if you guys like this. I will still be wearing wigs. I'll be switching it up. Like I do like to, put together a whole bold look every now and then. I'm not too bothered, I guess, if I have my natural hair out. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is ThredUp. All right, so let's start from the beginning. So I wanted to place an order around Christmas time. Been hearing a lot about ThredUp like for ages, as I'm sure you have as well, which is probably why you clicked on this video. I was curious. I checked out the site a few times, and that's the way I shop. I'll add a whole bunch of things to my cart and then kind of leave them there and think about it for a few days, come back to it, see how I feel, see if, I'm kind of not impulse buying, but just sort of like adding things because they look pretty and shiny, or if these are things that will actually fill in gaps in my wardrobe. I'm very much a maximalist, so I'm not looking for one white shirt and one pair of pants and one this and one that. Like I don't mind if I have 10 different shirts or 10 shirts that are exactly the same. Anyways, I added stuff to my cart, and then basically over the course of the next like couple weeks, I sort of took things out of my cart, added new things, so on and so forth. Finally, I decided, I looked at my cart and I'm like, okay, I like everything here. The price is a price that I'm willing to pay. And then I go to check out. And it only let me put in a US address, and I live in Canada. So I'm like, well, great. Do they only ship to US addresses? So I looked in their FAQ, which I will actually pull up right now, and I looked under international shipping. So what it says here is, what countries do you ship to? ThredUp currently ships to the United States and Canada, with no current plans to expand to additional countries at this time. Blah, 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 blah. If you're attempting to ship to Canada, but our site won't accept your postal code, it's likely your account is set to the USA. Please reach out to customer service with your full name, shipping address, all of that. I was like, well, great. That sucks. Like, I'm looking on the site, there's no way to change, like, you know how on some sites you have like that little bar at the top that might have like your flag or your currency, and you can kind of switch it to your location, or sometimes the site will sort of look at your IP address, figure out where you are, and then say, it looks like you're located in Canada. Do you want to switch to our international site or our Canadian site, or things like that? There was no option for any of that. And another thing, by the time I decided to make my purchase, I think it was Christmas Day, a thing that they were doing around Christmas and New Year's was your cart expired after like an hour or something like that. I think because, that time of year, people are shopping more, they're buying more things. So in order to make it fair, I guess, for other people who were shopping, you have a time limit on how long you can keep your items in your cart, which is kind of a strange concept to me. Like, I don't like to make, as I mentioned, I don't like to make impulse purchases. So I will literally sit on a decision to buy something for potentially weeks at a time. Sometimes I've waited up to a year, maybe even longer. So giving me an hour time limit to make a decision is incredibly stressful for me. Already I had to re-add things to my cart multiple times. And now you're telling me that by the time I finally made a decision, my cart is going to expire and I have to reach out to customer service to reset my account to Canadian. Already that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, but I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? I want these items. They weren't anything spectacular, but I thought it was a good deal. So fine. So I have to reach out to customer service if I want to place this order. I'm like, okay, fine. It's Christmas Day. No one's going to be answering my email, but I'll just send it out. And then whenever someone gets back to me, then I'll place my order. So I send them an email. I'll just put it up on screen, basically outlining that I wanted to place an order. It detected that I'm located in Canada. It won't let me put in a Canadian address. Is there any way to change my account to a Canadian account? I can't find, a place to do that on there. Thanks and happy holidays. So they sent me just like an auto response back. And then the next day, one of their customer service people replied and said, thank you for reaching out. As per your request, we reset your account to a Canadian account. So I was like, great, thank you. So sure enough, I go to my account and it is reset to Canada, and I can go ahead, put my items back in my cart and place my order. I will add, normally, I believe you have like 24 hours or so that your items stay in your cart and then they just remove them. If you have an account, it'll remember what you had in your cart recently, and then you can just go and add everything. Like, it'll have it sort of at the bottom and you can go in and actually just re-add everything. So at least it remembers what you had, but it's still like a little annoying to have to do that every time, but I digress. So I have everything in my cart and I go ahead, place my order. I'll just kind of give a brief overview of the items that I got. So I got like a lot of like jeans and like workout leggings. Again, not very exciting. I found a couple pieces from Aritzia, which I don't shop at Aritzia. I went into an Aritzia store once and was terrified. I was terrified. I was so stressed out and I immediately left because the vibe there was just, we weren't vibing. No one was mean or anything to me. One of the store people did ask if I needed any help. I think I was mostly scared away by the price tag, to be honest. So I left. I do own an Aritzia shirt that I got also at a thrift store, and I love the fit, and I got it for like super cheap because it was at a thrift store. Specifically, like their Wilfred line seems to fit me really nicely. I would never pay full price, but I decided, you know, while I'm here, I can search by brand, so might as well see if they have anything Wilfred. So they had a Wilfred cropped sweater, like a wool sweater, which I thought was really nice because I don't really have anything quite like that. It's just a plain gray sweater, like it's really not that exciting. And then they also had these black faux leather pants, and that style seems to be really in, so I thought like, okay, maybe I'll try those and see what I think. Again, everything else is not the most exciting. And then this was a trend like probably back in like, I want to say 2020 or so. Basically wearing like a lacy camisole or like a sort of either actual lingerie or pajamas, like sort of more sexy pajamas, or outfits that are sort of inspired by those silhouettes and materials, but not actually pajamas. Either wearing them by themselves with like a cardigan or something over top, or layering them over a turtleneck or a dress or like something like that. Anyways, I like the look. I'm really into lace and velvet. Like I don't dress goth or alternative every day, but I do like to dress in that style. So having pieces in my wardrobe that are velvet or lacy or velvet and lacy, or even the leather pants, things that are sort of that material in a darker color can fit into a more alternative outfit depending on how you style it. So I thought I would pick up a couple other like basic pieces that could be goth but could also be worn in sort of a more like normal style, if you will. So I found this cute velvet like camisole thing in like a navy color, but like it looks black in some lighting, but it is actually like a very dark navy. So they also have like purses and things like that. So I like the brand Rebecca Minkoff, and they did have a bunch of Rebecca Minkoff things. By the time I actually was able to check out, one of the items that I wanted was already sold, so I couldn't get that. But I ended up getting a Rebecca Minkoff mini wallet, because the wallet that I normally use day to day is actually quite large. It's really bulky. It can be really heavy sometimes in my purse. So I wanted the option of getting something smaller, especially because I was planning a trip to Europe. My husband and I recently came back from London and Paris, which was amazing. It was a lot of fun. And I've got pictures on my Instagram if you guys are interested in my trip. But anyways, I wanted a smaller wallet that is more travel friendly. So I got that. And then I also wanted a bit of a smaller purse because my current purse it's like a sort of crossbody thing. It's a little grungy. It's kind of old. The zipper doesn't always work and it sometimes gets caught on the lining. And again, I wanted something a little bit sleeker, a little bit nicer, especially going to Paris, but something that isn't as bulky just because, you know, pickpockets and things like that. I just wanted something you can tuck out of the way. So I also picked up a Rebecca Minkoff purse. And then I just got a couple like duffel bags as well to use as laundry bags. And that was it. Like really not the most exciting haul. So again, that's why like I'm not really showing much of what I got. Here's just like a little snapshot of my shopping cart. Just to kind of give you an overview of like what I got. Really not the most exciting. I'm sorry to disappoint. The point of this video is mostly for you guys if you've heard about ThredUp and you're thinking about ordering something. This is kind of everything that you need to know, especially if you're based in Canada. But if anyone from ThredUp who works there is watching this video, I also have some constructive feedback. Number one, I would have just appreciated if they had like some sort of thing that you can toggle saying like, you know, I'm based in the US or Canada, and then you're redirected to that version of the site instead of having to reach out to customer service and be like, hey, can you switch my account to Canadian? On that note, they switched my account to Canadian so I could put it in a Canadian address, and I kind of forgot until I was checking out that all the prices are listed in US dollars, not Canadian dollars. So the amount that I thought I was paying is actually a lot less than what I ended up paying just because of the exchange rate between US dollars and Canadian dollars. So I thought I was paying just under $300 Canadian, which is a lot of money. And I spent, what is that in USD to Canadian? So I thought I was spending just under $300 Canadian. Turns out I spent just under $300 US, which is about $400 Canadian. That is a shit ton of money. So I checked out using PayPal, which I highly recommend if you guys order a lot of things online, as I do. I have my issues with PayPal, but at the very least, when you're ordering things, if for whatever reason it's a scam website or there's some issue with your order or anything like that, they will help refund your money, so you will get your money back. Hopefully, at some point, I'm going to do a whole video talking about an experience where I got scammed, but I got my money back. So highly recommend, if there is the option, to check out using PayPal. Anyways, so I was already like, you know, the PayPal screen was there. I confirmed everything. And then I'm like, oh shit, this is in US dollars. But it was already too late at that point. And I was like, oh, you know what? I kind of need these items anyways, like mostly like the workout stuff. You know, I need these items anyways. I'm gonna buy them, and with the exchange rate, like it'll end up being the same or maybe a bit less. So, you know, I'm buying these items anyways. I'll just deal with it. So I did, and RIP to my wallet. A nice thing about ThredUp is they've got all these promotions, especially if you're a first-time shopper with them. They'll give you something like up to 60% off your order, which is really, really enticing. Not everything will be 60% off, but you will get some sort of discount on most of the items, which is really nice. And they're already heavily discounted from their original retail price. So like, for example, the Wilfred leather pants or faux leather pants were $60 on here. That those ones actually weren't on sale. Okay, so normally they're about $150. That is a crime. Most of the stuff was somewhere between 25 to about 55% off. Almost everything was on sale at an already discounted price. So I thought that was great. A nice thing about shopping on ThredUp versus your sort of regular thrift store. So if you're looking for anything sort of higher end, they do have a designer section as well. I can't vouch for, you know, like if they have the tags of authenticity or anything like that, but you do get a really good deal, especially if you're looking for something higher end. So that is nice. Because you're shopping online, you obviously can't see the clothes in person. I don't think any of the items online are like stained or severely damaged, which sometimes you encounter at actual thrift stores. Sometimes the items aren't in the best condition, and there will be a little blurb next to each item sort of describing the level of wear and tear, like whether it's brand new with tags even, or whether it's like used like new or used with some scuffing or wear. Pretty much all the items that I got, except for maybe like one or two, were essentially new. There was one item that actually still had the tags on. I'll see if I can, because I think I did take a video, so I'll put that video up on screen if I still have it. So that was pretty cool. Everything else was like basically new, and then I think one of the leggings had like a little bit of pilling. The sweater also had like a little bit of like a little bit of pilling, but not the biggest deal. Oh, and then the wallet was like a little dirty, but not the biggest deal. And everything else was in great condition. But in general, the clothes, they seem to be in better shape than a lot of things that I've encountered in other thrift stores, which is nice. As far as I know, this is sort of the only site of its kind. And I'm not counting like Depop or Poshmark or anything like that, because those are more like apps than actual websites. So as far as I know, this is the only website that's like sort of a whole thrift store. And it's one company rather than like individual sellers online. Thought that was kind of cool. You can sort by brand. You can, the search function isn't the greatest. So like I tried to search for like just like goth, you know, it didn't really come up with very much. So I had to search for particular brands. They don't really seem to have like brands like, you know, Killstar or things like that. It was kind of more like normal people brands. So, you know, like the Lululemons and the Aritzias and Old Navy and those types of brands. They also had a whole bunch of random brands that I hadn't heard of, but they might just be American brands that we don't get in Canada. I don't really know. They do have the sizes. They do have a measurement chart. I don't find it's like the most accurate always. So you kind of have to know how you fit in the brands that you're buying and sort of use the measurement chart with a grain of salt. Because I found some of the numbers, I'm like, that, like, you know, I know Old Navy clothes, I know how they fit. This size chart doesn't line up with how I know an Old Navy small, medium, large normally fits. I'm going to go based on what I know. So like things like that were a little iffy, but when there's such a big retailer of secondhand clothing from a whole bunch of brands, like they do the best they can. So the pictures on their website, I believe, are taken, I guess, like at their warehouse or studio or whatever. They like put it on a mannequin, take a picture, has a nice white background. You can kind of get a sense, and like you usually have a couple different angles of the product as well, so you can kind of get a sense of like, you know, how it looks, how it fits, the dimensions also. So for things like purses or whatever, they do have the dimensions, which I found were pretty accurate to how they actually are. So that was helpful. I did want to buy shoes. I just didn't find shoes that I liked. So unfortunately, I can't speak on that. Like some of the shoes look a little grungy and I wouldn't trust them, but generally they look like they're in decent shape. So considering the wear and tear and the condition that the stuff that I got was in, I would trust the shoes as well, unless they actually look dirty, in which case, fine. Yeah, everything seemed good when I got them. I threw everything in the wash, like, just to be safe, because like, I mean, it looks clean, but I don't know how clean it is. So as a rule of thumb, whenever I buy things, you know, secondhand from like a thrift shop or something, I always throw it in the wash. I talked about the total price. Originally, everything was supposed to come out to about $365 US, and I got about $110 off, just with all the discounts, like the first time order and everything like that, which is amazing. They did charge me $33 to ship to Canada, which I wasn't thrilled about. I knew there was going to be some shipping fee. $33 is a lot. I think it's probably they have like a base shipping rate, and then on top of that they might add a little bit more by, I don't know if it's by weight or just by like amount of items or something. It is what it is. I was going to buy stuff anyway, so I was like, okay, fine. And again, ended up totaling just under $300 US, which is $400 Canadian. So I placed my order on January 10th. So I guess I waited a little bit. Shipping was expedited. I don't remember there being different options for the speed of shipping, but I could be totally wrong. And then it was delivered about a week later on the 17th, and it was coming from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. It arrived really, really quickly. I was really impressed with that. But then I was hit with duties and import fees, which I didn't expect. Okay, let me rephrase that. I expected it, but I was hoping that it wouldn't actually happen. So when the delivery person knocked on my door, you know, they had my package and then they were like, you owe us duties. So I was like, okay, fine. How much do I owe you? $55.92 Canadian after tax. The nice thing is that they put the value is less than it actually is. Value for currency conversion, $132.02. Then it says value for tax, $183.31. That's the same value for duty, $23.83 for tax. Those numbers must be in US dollars, because then the amount that they actually taxed me was $44.62 Canadian. Then there's this ROD fee, which I don't know what that is. Anyways, basically I had to pay about $50. So I was not thrilled about having to pay $50 Canadian in tax after already paying like $400 on this clothing. Now, the things that I bought still ended up, I think, being cheaper than if I bought them at full price in store. I ordered 13 items, $400 divided by 13. It ends up being about $30 per item. Obviously, some things were a bit more, a bit less, but on average, $30 per item for 13 items. I think that's pretty good. I think I got a good deal, but with the conversion rate and with the shipping and having to pay duties, I don't know if I would order from ThredUp again. To be completely honest, like, I had a good experience with them, but in general, I don't like ordering things when I have to pay for shipping, and when I have to pay for shipping and duties, just sort of where we are with e-commerce. I sort of expect that a company that is big enough to be sponsoring influencers to be covering at least one of those fees, whether that's the duties and import fees or whether that's shipping. Considering the amount that I spent, I would have hoped or expected that I would have gotten free shipping. I guess I'm a little disappointed. I don't know, maybe I'm spoiled by other websites that I shop on. The items themselves were great though. Like, you know, they arrived quickly, they were packaged up really nicely. Hopefully I still have the footage of like the way that it came in a box. It came in a huge box, it was wrapped really nicely. Like, everything was really nicely put together. It was a positive shopping experience, but there were some hiccups along the way. And as an international or Canadian consumer, it just sucks sometimes to order from American websites, so I'm less inclined to do so when I get hit with duties or high shipping fees or things like that. Especially because I'm pretty sure they have free shipping within the US, so it's just sort of like I feel screwed over in a way because I have to pay for the conversion rate and shipping and duties. It's a lot of money, but it is a really good service. So like, I don't want to discourage you from shopping on there because I think it's a really good business model and they have a whole lot of brands to offer. Their stock is always changing because again, they only have one of everything and people are donating. So, you know, the more stuff, the more merchandise they have. I think if you're trying to sell stuff, I've heard mixed reviews about how much you actually get paid when you like sell your stuff to them. So I don't know how it is like to sell your stuff to them, but as a buyer or as a consumer, overall, I'd say my experience with ThredUp was positive. If you live in the US, definitely recommend it. Like, I think American companies, especially American e-commerce companies, really, like, if you live in the US, shipping is like cheap or usually free if you spend over a certain amount, so you'll be fine. The site itself is good. It's really easy to use. It's easy to find what you're looking for. You have a filter by size, by brand as well. Like if you're just looking for like dresses or something, you can filter out by brand. You can also set your size for things. I can't remember if you can set your favorite brands, but you can filter by brand. You can filter by color or pattern or things like that. If you're looking for like specifically green dresses, for example, or like cocktail green dresses, things like that, you can sort like any other e-commerce website. So I think it's a really well laid out website. If you're located in Canada, things that I discussed, you know, it might be a little bit more complicated to be able to make your order. And then once you get your order, you probably will be hit with duties and taxes and things like that. Also, the website is in US dollars, so that is also something to remember because, yeah, the number that is your total is not actually your total. You need to convert it. Like, I wouldn't say necessarily that that was the website's fault, but it would have been nice to know that information. Like, even just to like say like, you know, total US dollars, especially because like my account was set to a Canadian account. So like, I don't understand why they couldn't have just like indicated that, because I don't know, other websites do that. Like, I don't want to deter Canadians from ordering from ThredUp. If you really want to order from ThredUp, it does make thrift shopping a lot more convenient because you can do it from the comfort of your own home. You can sort it by brand. So like, you know, if you want to get a good deal on like Stuart Weitzman boots, or if you want to snag like a Louis Vuitton purse or luggage or something like that, you can find things like that on there, which is nice because you can't always find that in every thrift shop. Not every thrift shop has designer or high-end merchandise. And at least in my experience, the ones that do are kind of, you've got your luxury thrift stores or consignment stores, and then you've got like the regular ones, and they don't often mix together. So this is kind of, you get everything in the same place, and you can spend as much time as you want from the comfort of your own home. If that is, you know, something that you don't enjoy actually physically shopping and you'd rather do it from home, this is a nice option. I think that covers everything, hopefully. If you guys have any specific questions, if you want me to elaborate on something, feel free to comment below. I think I covered everything. If I remember something that I forgot to talk about, I'm going to pin it in a comment below as well. So overall, do I recommend ThredUp? Yes, but asterisk. Like, yes, it was a good experience, but it wasn't the smoothest sailing. And I don't like that I had to pay extra money. It was kind of pricey for like what it was, but I did enjoy the convenience. I did enjoy that I could sort of filter, like, you know, I was looking for particular brands. I was able to find those brands. And at an actual thrift store, like, at least what I've been finding recently, there's just a lot of like Shein and Zara. I've been seeing a lot of Shein and Zara specifically at thrift stores. I don't know. Shein, I understand why. Zara, I don't really know why. But for me, the more exciting parts of thrifting is when you find either like a vintage brand or a small indie brand or something, or just, you know, brands that you might not be exposed to normally. When you find those in a thrift shop and it's like an interesting piece, that's what really excites me. Because I was looking for Aritzia stuff in particular, it was nice to be able to search for it rather than have to go up and down every single rack. But sometimes I enjoy that. So I don't know, it was a fun experience, but I do enjoy also going to physical thrift shops. But not everyone has that luxury. So especially if you live in a more remote area, let's say you don't have a thrift store near you, or again, if you're looking for a particular brand, I think this is a good option, a good alternative. And, you know, you can be exposed to more brands and get them at a discounted price, which is always nice. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below if this was helpful at all to you. It's probably going to be a really, really long video. I tend to kind of go on a tangent when I do these kind of more like talking videos, but I tried to give you as much helpful information. Like, I try to sort of think when I do these types of videos, like, okay, if this was me and I was looking for information, what's the information that I would be looking for? Give this video a big thumbs up if it was helpful to you. Let me know below also if the information that I talked about in here, if that was like helpful at all in helping you make a decision whether you want to shop on ThredUp. I'd love to know like if my videos are helpful to people, because I mean that's like my goal on here is to help you guys like make shopping decisions. So, you know, it's nice to know when your videos are actually doing what you are trying to accomplish. If you like the type of content that I post here on my channel, usually, lately not so much, but usually it's a lot of bold, fun, colorful makeup looks. I love playing with color. I love playing with texture. And then I also love goth fashion, so occasionally I'll talk about that. There's way more of that on my other social media accounts. So if you like bold, experimental, fun makeup looks and goth makeup looks and fashion and that type of thing, then I'd love if you could follow me on my other socials. I'm just trying to grow my presence online, build a community of people so then I can hopefully give you guys advice on, you know, makeup and fashion and that type of thing. So it just really helps me out as a small creator. If you could follow me on those platforms, that would be really helpful. As always, I'll leave links in the description box below so you can check that out if you're interested. And if you enjoy the content that I post here, which is a lot of like reviews and that type of thing, then I'd love it if you could subscribe and turn on notifications. Again, that just helps me grow as a small creator, so hopefully I can build a bigger community and help more people, and more people will see my videos. So every little bit of, you know, subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, commenting on my videos, every little bit of interaction or engagement helps me grow. So I would really appreciate it if you could do that, and I'll see you guys in my next video.